बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अली अल्लाह मदद फरमा, तौफीक, ताईद, हिम्मत व यारी, या मौलाए मेहरबान, या इमाम ज़मान, या नूर इलाही, हमारी मदद फरमा। देख मौला, हम तेरे गरीब और नाचार बच्चे इल्म की कोशिश में सुबह और शाम जमा होते हैं मौला, लेकिन तू जानता है मौला, हमारी कमज़ोरियों को तू जानता है, और हम अपने खुद की कमज़ोरियों को देखते हैं मौला तो हमको शर्म आती है मौला कि काश हमने तेरे फरमामीन को जल्दी से पढ़ा होता, जल्दी से समझा होता और जल्दी से उसके ऊपर अमल किया होता मौला। मौला दुआ है कि तू हमारी मदद फरमा, हमारे साथ रहे, हमारे ज़बान के ऊपर अपने नूर को चला मौला, हमारे कानों के अंदर अपने नूर को फूंक दे मौला, ताकि हम तेरी बात को बोल सके, सुन सके, समझ सके मौला। तमाम साथियों से दरख्वास्त है कि इस गरीब और नाचीज़ के लिए दिल में कुछ दुआएं करें, ताकि हम इस इल्म को अच्छी तरह से पढ़ कर बयान करके समझ सकें। तमाम साथियों को एक बार फिर इस नाचीज़ की जानिब से या अली मदद। And thank you for giving this Gulame Mola a chance, an opportunity to come and speak to this great group of Mu'mineen. Before we go to our subject Farman, which we were reading last week, I have come across a Farman of a Golden Jubilee Darbar, 17 August 2007. And I wanted to read this because there was a question in our previous session to make it clear to the listener. And fortunately, with Imam's mercy, I found this Farman. Mola says, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. This area of practice of our faith is an area which is highly important, but which requires commitment on behalf of the Jamaat and guidance on behalf of the Imam. And I want to make it clear to my spiritual children that we are and will continue to seek out knowledge and understanding, particularly from the Quran, so that my murids can look forward to the future with interpretation which is correct. You are aware, of course, that over the history of Islam there are thousands and thousands of interpretation of the Quran for every time, for every part within the Ummah. There have been interpretation of the Quran, and it is important that as time evolves, we should continue under the guidance of the Imam to seek clarity and understanding from the Quran-e-Sharif. and I want my spiritual children to know that this is an endeavor which is being undertaken on an ongoing basis, and that guidance will be given on a continuing basis equally. I would like my spiritual children to have happiness and comfort that in Islam, but particularly in Shia Islam, the role of is part of the faith. That intellect is what separates man from the rest of the physics in which he lives. And as we develop not only primary education, but our secondary education, I hope that my Jamaat will find great happiness in reading the new books that we will make available of the thought, the history of the faith within Shia notion of the capacity of the intellect, creation of Allah will bring you happiness in your everyday lives. Of that, Mullah says, I am certain. Again, this Farman was from 17th of 2007, almost 13-year-old, from Golden Jubilee Darbar, Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. The reason I wanted to read Farman and put all the about the necessity, the importance of the Quran in our tariqah, in our dua, in our tasbiyat, during our ibadat and isme azam. I cannot tell you a single part of our tariqah which does not have something to do with the Kalam-e Ilahi in the Quran. And this is the Farman that I will refer to. Whoever has a doubt or question, read this Farman. And if you want another 10 more Farman, if you want 100 more Farman on Quran, read the printed Quran book, Farman book, from 1957 to 2007, which has close to 3,000 Farameen, and you will find 100 and more references to the Quran in present Jama, in Hazir Imam, in our 49th Imam's Farman. And then you need more clarification about the Quran, read Sultan Muhammad Shah's Farman. So I wanted to have this one out of the way initially, because I believe the very last thing we were talking about last Saturday was about the Quran. So thank you again for giving me this extra 5-10 minutes to read this Farman and opportunity to talk about the importance of the Quran in the eyes of the Imam. अच्छा, so let's come back. हम एक फरमान को पढ़ रहे थे and we were trying to understand the role of the intellect in understanding our tariqah within the Islam. There are so many questions, and I do appreciate all of the questions that I have received through Zinat, and there are many questions. Some of them we will cover today, inshallah, at the end, and some of them hopefully will be covered during the reading of this Farman, because I was reading some of the questions. Inshallah, you will see the answer in this Farman to your question. If not, we will come back and we will cover that. Acha. हम यहां तक पहुंचे थे जहां पर हमने मौलाना रूमी की बात की थी और हमने इंसान की रूह की प्रोग्रेशन की बात की थी. And we had talked about in two different ways. Initially, our I, our soul, हमारी रूह चार हिस्सों में तकसीम है या चार हिस्से हैं उसके. There are four attribution, four johor, essence, four parts. Soul is one. I wanted to make sure this because I received like a dozen or so questions on this. But remember, the soul is one. But there are four steps. Mineral soul, vegetative soul, animal soul, human soul. And we had talked about difference between mineral soul, vegetative soul, animal soul, and then two parts of animal soul, and then human soul, the rational soul, and the human soul. And then we had talked about Ruhul Qudus, the soul of the Imam, and in our Western country we call it Holy Spirit. And all of this was the understanding and the interpretation of this Furman and this paragraph of Maulana Rumi, where he said that he was initially in the stone, then he came in a tree, then transformed into the ant and the monkey, two parts of the animal, the crawling and mimicking. And then I am in the human soul, and then he asked question, where would I go from here? And to answer that, we said we wanted to be one with the Holy Spirit, Ruhul Qudus, in Imam, Fanafi Imam. So I hope this answered about 20 of those questions out of those lists which I had received last week. Acha. The next paragraph. You must think about getting annihilated. फना होने की बात हो रही है यहाँ पर. Whoever desire it, strive for it, will be able to get there. Look at this. इमाम यहाँ पर नहीं कहते हैं कि शायद, कि आपने शायद करी सकूं, शायद नहीं करी सकूं. There is no if. Imam says, whoever think, work hard and strive for it, they will be able to get themselves annihilated into the soul of the Imam. And of course we have read so many Faramin that talks about how and what do we need to do. Ajizi, humbleness, plays a great role in the Fana fi Imam. So if there are some Buzrug, Hamare Vadil, those who are, and most of you guys are, much closer to the Imam and elevated than this Garib and Nachis, please remember one single thing. If you wanted to become closer and closer to the Nur of Imam, if you want Imam to be happy with you, if you want Imam's pleasure, Imam's Noor, Imam's Didar. Step number 1, be humble. I know everybody is thinking there is no more humble, and everybody saying, oh my God, I'm so humble. Let me give you a couple examples. How do we leave our ajizi, our humbleness behind without even knowing it, without even understanding what is humbleness? Imam said, be humble when you sit in your ibadat. What does it mean, be humble in ibadat? When someone is talking to you, when you have a discussion with your friend within the Jamaat, I'm just talking about amongst ourselves. I know it's at the work, at the job, you should also be humble there, but sometimes it's hard because you have to prove your skills and you have to brag about your skills to get a job or to work in a competitive environment. I understand that. But I'm talking about amongst ourselves. How do we forget humbleness? One single way we so quickly forget our humbleness. And more people who are coming toward the knowledge, and more people are talking about their experience and their knowledge and the information they have. Not, I will use the word information. Remember the difference between information, knowledge, and ilm-e-hakiki, the true knowledge. More and more people who have more and more information, and when you are talking to our brother and sister within the Jamaat, you are so quick in saying, oh, I have been reading all of this thing. I have been doing all of this thing. Oh, me? I'm punctual in my ibadat. Oh, that's all? There is no one better than me. Ibadat? Oh my God, I've been doing ibadat for 20, 30, 40 years. Tasbiyat? All day long. My brother and sister, my elders, where is our humbleness? Where is our humbleness? How should we be talking to our brother and sister when it comes to our tariqah and the practice of our tariqah? Think about this. We all are adult. I don't need to say this, but I felt it so hard, especially within last week or so, that we are forgetting or we are not understanding what is ajizi, what is humbleness. તમે કાંઈ નહીં હશો તો ઉપર જાશો. અગર તમે કાંઈ હશો, if you think you are something and somebody, then you are not going anywhere. Become the dust under the feet of not Imam. Oh, Imam's feet and his dust? No, that's too much. Become the dust under the feet of the mu'mineen. Can you be that humble? Be humble. Be humble. Acha. So Mullah is saying, whoever desire and strive for it will be able to get there. But your sins do not let you get there. Those sins have locked you in the prison. The sin of the world have put you in the prison. The same way, the habit of speaking lie has imprisoned you and your wishes. आपको समझ में आ गया मैं क्या बोल रहा था? हमारे गुनाहों ने, हमारी दुनिया की ख्वाहिशात ने, हमारी बड़ाई ने हमको, हमारी रूह को हमारे अंदर कैद करके रखा है, हमारे अंदर इम्प्रिजन करके रखा हुआ है. और हमारी ख्वाहिशात, and we had talked about our ख्वाहिशात before, but let's say what Maulana is saying in this farman, such as the paradise, the wish for the paradise is keeping us in the prison. Wish of the paradise is keeping us in prison. Wish of the horse, woman in the prison, in the heaven. The good fruit, मेवे, जन्नत के मेवे की ख्वाहिशात ने हमको कैद में रखा हुआ है. All those desires have imprisoned you, but the soul is never pleased in the prison. Mullah said, listen, think. If one catches a nightingale or any other bird and puts it in a cage, if one gives it water and those good things that animal eat, it will still not be pleased in the cage. Why this example? Because if our wish is to go to Jannat, eat fruit, have hurans for women, gilmans, then what is the difference between us and that bird who has been caged and given the water and the food and the fruit? What is the difference? Because heaven itself is a prison cell itself. If you want a freedom, independence, then become one with Imam. हमारी ख्वाहिशात ने हमको जेल में, केज में, पिंजरे में have imprisoned us. हमको बंद करके रखा हुआ है. Mullah further says it will be more interested in flying and wandering in the air. It will long to fly out of the cage. I wanted to explain this part a little bit more. What is the difference between dying and going to heaven and dying and becoming one with the Imam? Start thinking. Open your heart, open your mind. What is the difference between going to heaven and going to become one with the Imam? क्योंकि जिस जन्नत की आप ख्वाहिश करते हैं, चूंकि हमने जन्नत को समझा ही नहीं है, the reason because we have not even understood what is heaven. And there are 7 heavens before you become one with Imam. And we had talked about example of a clock from 6 o'clock to the 12 o'clock. Where is the freedom? Is the freedom at 6 o'clock? We are at 6 o'clock today. Is freedom at 5 o'clock? We are at 5 o'clock. Inshallah, because Imam had given us elevation of the soul by giving us the Isme Azam. Are we at 4 o'clock? Or are we at 3 o'clock? On 3 o'clock, are you under the 3 o'clock or above the 3 o'clock? Where is the freedom? Think. Because there is no didar even before 3 o'clock. Meaning, until you cross all of those heavens, and I cannot even explain what those heavens are. If there were 15, 20, 30 people who will have some batini knowledge of our tariqah, who will have done some true, honest and elevated ibadat, then maybe we can talk about that. But we need to have higher goal to become free, and we cannot be free until we have Didar-e-Imam, the Noor of the Imam, until we elevate our soul to that level. And I'm not saying that we need to go, not that I'm discouraging. Yes, you can go from 6 to 12 in one lifetime, in this lifetime, in this 100 years. You can do that in 40 days if you want to. You can do that in 4 years if you want to. You can do this in this lifetime. Yes, you can do it. But at least have such a knowledge so we can understand कि कहाँ जाना है हमको, where are we going, what are we wishing for, what are we striving for. ये सारी चीजें जो हम कर रहे हैं सुबह शाम, and I can see you and salute to you for all the time you are devoting toward the knowledge. If you can get enough true knowledge, batini knowledge of the Imam, and if you can just elevate yourself from 6 to 5 to 4 to 3 and have that didar, you can fly. And trust me, you do not have to die to fly. अपनी रूह को उड़ाने के लिए मरने की जरूरत नहीं है. No, you can do it in this lifetime. Our dais, our peers, our arifin, our buzrug have done it within one single life. In short period of time, they have done it. Don't look too far. Look at Pir Hassan Kabiruddin. You know, he had received the Piratan in very young age. What is Pir? Who is Hujjat? Pir are the door of the Imam. How did he become door to the Noor of Imam? Because he followed Imam's farman. How humble were they? Very, very humble. How much ibadat did they do? 16 hours a day. How did they speak to their brothers and sisters? How much knowledge they had to share with the Jamaat. Imam has made us da'i. Be mindful of that. Take that responsibility seriously. And you can do it. I know you can do it. I have seen people doing it. Yes, Imam's blessing is with you and you can do it. Let's come back to this farman. If one clips off the wings of the bird and puts it in a cage and gradually accustoms it to the cage, yet in the beginning it will still want to get out of the cage. But once its wings are cut, if it is made accustomed to the cage for 2-3 years, then it will no longer want to get out of the cage. You too are like a bird. तुम भी उस कटे हुए परों के परिंदों की तरह हो. क्योंकि आज हमको मजा आ गया है दुनिया में, हमारे पर काट दिए हैं. We are happy with the food, the big cars and big homes and beautiful clothes and jewelry. We have forgotten. We have forgotten how to fly. We don't even wish to fly anymore. Or do we? Do we? Follow Imam's Farman. You can do it. Yes, you can do it. Yes, you can do it. When you first arrived in this cage, you had the intention of breaking free, but then you got used to the cage and you became pleased with the food that was there. You are not pleased to fly in the air. यहाँ पर 2 minutes, 2 minutes. Think. Is Imam talking about us or Imam talking about somebody else? क्या ख्याल है आपका? इमाम हमारे बारे में बात कर रहा है या इमाम किसी और के बारे में बात कर रहा है? क्या ख्याल है? I think Imam knows us too well. Imam can read our heart, our mind. Imam can see our deeds. He can see the actions. And our actions is telling the Imam that we are getting used to this life so well. We are liking the food and the big homes and the cars so well that we are not even giving second thought to fly away. Remember, I had put out a challenge a week or two ago where Imam said, you can become like Pir Sadruddin. And I said, if we truly believe in the Imam's Farman, if you think we can become like Pir Sadruddin, then tell me, have you tried it? Have you ever tried to become like Pir Sadruddin? Or we have made excuses? हमारे पास एक एक्सक्यूज की किताब है, शायद 2 किताबें होगी एक्सक्यूज की. इतने एक्सक्यूज है हमारे पास. Because I'm busy with my life, I cannot get up in the morning, I have small children, I have older parents to take care of, I work 16 hours, I have this and I have that. All the excuses in the world. If we have believed Imam's Farman, you don't have to tell anyone. Ask yourself, have you ever tried to become like Pir Sadruddin? Have you ever tried to free your soul? What have you done to free your soul? Ask yourself. You don't have to tell anyone. Mullah says, you are not pleased to fly in the air. When you first arrived in the cage, you had the intention of breaking free, yes, but then you got used to the cage and you became pleased with the food that was there. You are not pleased to fly in the air. Children, family, their children, you have been so entrapped in them, so enticed in them that like a bird with its wings cut off, you too have been left with your wings clipped off. Now, where can you go? You say everything I'm saying is not my word. I'm not saying it. It is Imam's word that I'm repeating. So we can wake up today. We together can fly. We as the one Jamaat, we as the one single soul, we as the one murid of the Imam. If we decide, there's nothing can stop us. If we dedicate our life, we dedicate our thoughts and minds and time and knowledge, there's nothing can stop us. If we believe we can do it, yes, we can do it. Imam further says, if I swift flying nightingale is put into a golden cage and given good fruits, water, etc., even then it will feel like flying away. But as its wings are cut off gradually and as children start gathering, then 50 years later, when taken out, they will not be able to fly because they would have been born in the prison. They would be ignorant of the merits of the wandering or flying in the air. You too are left senseless. You do not know the real value, the asal of your deen. You do not understand its meaning. You are not aware of the inspiration of your deen. मौला हम पर रहम करे, हमको माफ करे, हमसे गलती हुई है, हमसे कोताही हुई है. We have been slow in realizing and understanding what our true mazhab, true deen, asal deen is. We have failed to understand the essence of it. But if we have woken up today, if I have not shaken you up today, then I don't know where we're going to go from here. I hope all of us, including myself, we are shaken up. And we have woken up. Many are those amongst you who have put their names in the Ismaili faith and who say, we are Ismailis, but what is Ismaili faith and what is its worth? Of that, they know not a thing. They are but fools. Mullah, Ya Mullah Mehraban, please forgive us. I know you can see us and you can see how lazy we have been in our deeds, in our following the Farman. Ya Mullah, please wake us up so we can understand our true faith. I know, Mullah, we call ourselves Ismaili because we were born Ismaili, but sometimes we forget the worth, the essence. We forget that we are those fortunate souls who have living Imam. We have living Isme Azam. We have Baitul Khyal Ibadat. What excuse will we have tomorrow? क्या बहाना करेंगे? The excuse book that we have today, will not help you tomorrow. Will not help you tomorrow. Let's see if we can read paragraph or two, and then we can open the floor for questioning. I have few questions that I picked from the last email, and I will try to answer them as well. Mullah says further, you too gradually turn your hearts towards Sufism. You should aim at reaching even higher. We cannot stop at Sufism. Sufism is a tariqah. Our tariqah is of haqiqat. And where are we need to go? Are we want to stay at haqiqat? No. We want to get to the marifat. We want to get to the marifat. I'm going to read this again. You too, gradually. We understand it's a step-by-step process. Turn your hearts towards Sufism. You should aim reaching even higher. The Sufi mazhab is the tariqah. After that, you will reach to haqiqat. After that, you will reach to haqiqat. Little by little, you will start to fly. The soul that has the knowledge will elevate itself step by step. One step completed, it will be able to ascend to the next. इल्म वाली रूह दर्जा ब दर्जा तरक्की करेंगी. कौन सी रूह? जिसके पास इमाम का हकीकी इल्म होगा. Not information, my brothers and sisters. आप इंफॉर्मेशन के पीछे ना दौड़ें. इंफॉर्मेशन के अंदर अपना वक्त ज़ाया ना करें. आज सुबह की क्लास में नाचीज समझा रहा था कि सोशल मीडिया में यहां से इंफॉर्मेशन उठाई, वहां पर दी, अपना भी वक्त ज़ाया किया, अपने भाई बहनों का वक्त भी ज़ाया किया. नहीं नहीं नहीं. You are better than that. You are better than that. हकीकी इल्म जिसके पास होगा, मौला फरमाते हैं कि इल्म वाली रूह, one with true knowledge, will elevate itself. किस तरह से? Step by step, by step by step. वो 6 नंबर से 5 नंबर पे जाएगा, 5 नंबर से 4 नंबर पे जाएगा, 3 नंबर पे जाएगा, इमाम का दीदार हासिल करेगा और ऊपर जाएगा, हकीकत की तरफ जाएगा, मारिफत की तरफ जाएगा. वो रुकेगा नहीं. क्या कहेगा? मुझे फना फी इमाम होना है. और वो 12 नंबर पर इमाम के अंदर एक वोकर सांस लेगा. उससे पहले बैठेगा नहीं वो. He will not take the rest. He will not stop himself. He will not. Why? Why? Because with the true knowledge, he will understand the worth of himself and herself. He will understand the worth of our tariqah. He will understand the faramin of the imam. He will understand the isme azam. He will understand the ibadat in our tariqah, in Baitul Khiyal. And before you know, it will not take too long. वो ऊपर जाएगा. Before you know, you will have the spark, the nur of the Imam. Before you know, you will be in the second heaven, third heaven, but you will not be happy with that. You will not rest. until you have a permanent दीदार इमाम जो ऊपर के दर्जे पर है, हकीकत के ऊपर है। फिर क्या करेंगे आप? What are you going to do? You will go even further. I'm not saying it. Listen to what Maulana is saying. You can become like Isa, you can become like Pir Shams, Pir Sadruddin, and you can go even higher than that. क्या है ऊपर? ईसा के ऊपर क्या है? पीर सदरुद्दीन से ऊपर क्या है? क्या मौला फरमा रहे हैं? Be one with true knowledge. Seek true knowledge. Seek true knowledge of the Imam. Do not waste your time in information. Do not waste your time in information. आगे मौला फरमाते हैं, but he who has no knowledge says, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just remain here. जिसके पास इल्म नहीं है वो क्या कहता है? मैं कहाँ जा रहा हूं? मैं तो यहीं बैठा हुआ हूं. Don't be like that. No. Take the knowledge of the Imam and elevate yourself. Gauge yourself. You can ask yourself and you will know where you stand. You will know. You don't have to ask anyone. You don't have to tell anyone. You don't have to share with anyone. Ask yourself where you are. Mullah says, one who has no knowledge says, I'm not going anywhere and I'm just remain here. My farman do not get set into their hearts of such persons. The one who cannot understand, how can they get set in their heart? जो मेरे फरमान को समझता ही नहीं है. मौला फरमाते हैं, the one who doesn't even understand my farman, how would he set in their heart? How will he elevate himself? How? And how can he come to believe? Those who will be able to understand my farman will find them sweet. उसको मेरे फरमान मीठे लगेंगे, अच्छे लगेंगे. Only one who will understand my farman. If you will not act according to my faramins, you will be in trouble. There blood or gurez, a thoda of iron of fire will be strike on your head. At that time you will cry out and say, forgive me day and night. अच्छा, यहां पर मैं एक बात आपको क्लियर कर देना चाहता हूं. आपको कोई मारने वाला नहीं है, आपको कोई आग में फेंकने वाला नहीं है. No one will be going to beat you up. No one going to throw you into the fire of hell. This is an example. This is an example. In one place, someone in the front of Imam Aka Sultan Muhammad Shah, may our soul be sacrificed to the Imam, said, those who are ignorant of the truth will be in the fire of hell. And Sultan Muhammad Shah corrected him by saying, those who are ignorant of the true knowledge today in this life are in the fire of hell. मैं उर्दू में इसको रिपीट करना चाहता हूं ताकि जो लोग इसको नहीं समझे समझ ले. एक मर्तबा एक शख्स ने मौला के सामने कहा कि वो जो इस दुनिया में हकीकी इल्म से इग्नोरेंट है, वो दोज़ख की आग में जाएगा। मौला ने इसको करेक्ट किया बाय सेइंग, आज जो हकीकी इल्म से गाफिल है वो आज ही दोज़ख की आग में है। That is the example Imam is giving here. That is the example. What it means? Do not be ignorant of the true knowledge. Do not be ignorant of the true knowledge. Acha. One who does ibadat bandagi out of fear of the hathoda of the fire is not a mu'min, but the true fear should be that of the being cut off from the vision. डर के मारे इबादत नहीं करनी है, इमाम के नूर से हम दूर ना रह जाएं। ऐसा ना हो that you cannot reach to the number 3 and you are far away from Imam's noor at the level of 6, 5 or 4. That should be the fear. Only हमारे दिल में जो डर है वो ये होना चाहिए कि कहीं हम इमाम के नूर से, इमाम के दीदार से दूर ना हो जाएं। Not of the fire, because no one is going to throw you into fire. No one. Just like Hazrat Ali's farman that he made one day at the namaz time and said, "O God, I do not desire paradise, nor I am afraid of hell. Give me whatever suffering you want to. Do the good unto me. I am in the love with you." This is hakikat. क्या है हकीकत? The love of Imam. What is hakiki ibadat? The true and honest ibadat? In the love of the Imam is the true ibadat. So I'm going to stop here. And if you want to ask some question, go ahead. If you give me permission to read some of the question that you had shared with me last week, then I can answer one or two quickly. Then we can move on to today's question.